Hello and welcome to Nintendo Therapy, a very special episode of Nintendo Therapy because you already got your regular episode this week. So we're giving you a little bonus here, a little Nintendo Therapy After Dark, as Harrison dubbed it. And we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct. How you doing, Harrison?
Doing well, and perhaps Sean will be joining us in a bit. We'll see. Perhaps he'll
It's a
pop in.
mystery.
Yeah, yeah, and not just a regular week. I mean,
It's just like a Nintendo Direct. Anything could happen at any time.
yeah, and then there's more podcast hosts.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was thinking after we left that next week we're doing WarioWare Inc. and I'm like, thank God, because we did almost a 90-minute episode yesterday. Or yesterday for us,
Yeah.
and now we're right back at it, and we had a jam-packed direct. So yeah, welcome back.
I guess I'd say, like, if you don't have anything to say about a game, we'll move past it, because otherwise, we'll be here all night. There was so many announcements. So let's just dive in. So they started off with that Splatoon DLC coming in spring 2024. Do you play Splatoon?
I am usually on the hype train, like when the new game comes out, but Splatoon is one of those games that it might be the number one like Nintendo game that I wish I was into more. But this expansion pass, this Wave 2, is definitely something I need to buy, and it doesn't come out until the spring of next year. But they're adding the replayability concept, where you ascend through the spire and then you get like new buffs. It looks like a Splatoon roguelike. And if Splatoon is jumping on that train, I'm all for it. I'm very excited about it. And this was a great way to kick off the direct. Toru Minagishi, who does the music for all the Splatoon games and many other Nintendo games, absolutely killed this one. It reminds me a lot of, if you know, Window Licker by FX Twin, and they had that really famous music video, but it was very much unlike a Nintendo soundtrack. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't really get into Splatoon too much, but I'm happy for the people who are into it, that it seems like everybody is kind of loving what they're adding to it. So that's good. It'll be time for a new Splatoon soon, maybe with the new system.
Yeah. It seems like every 4 years or so, and this one's about a year old. And I got to say, as far as live content goes, Splatoon, I think by far is the best that Nintendo does. Their Splatfests are always amazing, I think. So they do very well with keeping that base excited about their game. So yeah. That's all. Next up, we had Mario versus Donkey Kong. Have you played any of these games?
Prince of Persia came next, at least in my notes.
Prince of Persia was later on. We can go whatever order. I don't care.
Did we get a different direct?
We might have got a different direct.
Because before we started recording, it sounded like I was missing things, and it seemed like they're in different orders. I don't know. But in mind, Prince of Persia definitely came before Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Okay. Well, either way, that's number 3 on the list. So
okay.
Oh, okay. So listeners, it sounds like the I watched it live. It sounds like there might have been something different. I don't know, but let's go with your list. We're going with Kevin's list today.
Well, I had Prince of Persia next, and it's funny that I dwelled on it because I really don't have anything to say about that one. It looks great. It looks like it might be a roguelite version of Prince of Persia. I haven't played a Prince of Persia game since the first one, so it's not like I'm going to be playing this one. But again, I'm glad for the people who are into that franchise that they have more to play.
Yeah, I'm dubbing this game Prince of Metroid Persia Dread, which
Yeah, it does look like a little Metroidvania-ish too. Yeah, you're right.
which I want to be clear is not a bad thing. Like if they took inspiration from Metroid Dread, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Because that's a great game, and the haircut is still horrible. It's still his haircut is still really really bad. But this is their first mainline game since 2009, and I guess since it's Ubisoft, there is some relevance to it. So again, good for whoever's playing it.
Okay, and then I had Mario versus Donkey
Okay.
Kong, which is a franchise. Again, I'm just saying, another one where I only played the first one, and this seems like it's a remake. I thought they should have just made a new game in the series at this point. They're not very, doesn't seem like complicated games to make. So I was kind of surprised they didn't just do that.
So there's 6 games in this series, and this is a series I have blacked out on. Have you played these games?
Just the first one. And it reminded me a lot of the Lemmings games, if you played those back in the day. But I feel like I heard that each game was like extremely different, so you can't base them all on that.
It's pretty clear what this demographic is, and this comes up a couple of times. I think in this direct, clearly this is not a Mario game for me, but I think it is a good pick for this current Switch hardware. And oh man, like I mean, it's kind of I made a tweet last night saying like there's a lot of Mario, but then I followed it up with, but I guess that makes sense.
I wish we put this on the bingo card because this was a title that I had heard, like I'd seen rumors on Twitter about this being in the direct. So some of the stuff I just chose to not put on there because, not all rumors end up panning out. But this is one, the rumor mongers, you were right. It showed up.
Okay, yeah. There were predictions of this. So yeah, just once again,
But oh, I was gonna say just one that my only note on this, other than I thought they should have just made a new game in the series, is I was kind of disappointed in the visuals, just being that like it looks like HD Mario, like the standard look they have to it now. I kind of liked the pixelated look more, and it made me think I might just go and buy the original game and play that instead because I kind of liked that look.
this is actually a topic that's going to come up with a remaster that we're going to talk about in just a bit, with original graphics and
All
remastered
right, a teaser
graphics.
for later.
Yeah, this is not. I don't have any further thoughts on this one. This is not a series that I. This is a series I've blacked out on. I've
Any
totally.
thoughts on Another Code Recollection is what I have up next.
Um, okay. Wow. This is much different than my list. Okay. Another
That's so
code.
weird. I took the notes as the video played. I don't know what's going on.
And I because another code is number 8 on my list. um, and I don't know. I watched it live. I'm on the Nintendo Life right now. But anyways,
I took the so I'll tell you where I got the Nintendo Direct is I watched it live at work, and then when I came home and took these notes, I took them off of the Arlo reaction video on YouTube. So I don't know if he reorganized them for
oh,
some reason.
I think that he did because I'm
Okay.
not sure if he streamed or not. Does Arlo stream? I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
I don't know, but it was he said it was a live reaction
so
video. I don't know if he was streaming it live, but it seems like he had them in a different order. I don't know. Maybe to avoid the video get taken down. I don't know.
okay.
But
Well,
yeah.
Well, this is our bonus episode. Here's what we'll do. We're gonna go with your order, and then I'll do any extras at the end
Okay, that works. Then nothing gets
if
left
there
out.
was. Another code is a DS game that I know nothing about, and there was tons of hype for, at least in my small community that I follow. So, how about you?
I know nothing about this game. Moving on.
I will include. It comes out January 19th. There is they're calling it another code recollection, which includes two memories. That is the North American one or the worldwide one, and also another code are not, which was the Japanese only release. So it is a dual release. That's pretty cool, at least I guess.
And then next up, there was a lot of stuff in this direct that made me feel like our podcast is in good shape because we got a lot of things right. There was a lot of stuff in here that we've talked about in the past. And next up, they talked about some of the different mechanics that are going to be in the new version of Mario RPG. And in the past, we talked about how they might be doing team attacks, and it turned out to be the case. They're in there, and I'm really excited about this because, as I've said in the past, it's my favorite game, and every time I play it, I end up defaulting to the same party of Mario, Peach, and Bowser because A, they're the Nintendo characters, and B, Peach is kind of overpowered in the game in terms of healing spells. Like you basically can't die if you have Peach in your party. So it's really, really cool that it'll give me incentive to switch the party up now and have different people involved.
Yeah, that is cool. So I was gonna have you take it away because you're the Mario RPG guy. There were two things I saw. So timing attacks, is that something that's new?
So the timing attacks aren't new, but what is new is that before, when you get a time attack, it just damaged the enemy you were attacking a little more. Now when you get a perfect time attack, it damages all the enemies. So that's different, which does, they didn't mention this in the direct, but it corresponds with something I saw people online saying. I don't overanalyze the game this much, but they said it seems like the characters were doing less damage than they normally would at certain parts of the game in the trailer. And maybe it's because of something like this where they're doing less damage, but they can damage more. You know what I'm saying? They can deal out more of it. So there was speculation on if this version was going to be easier than the Super Nintendo one. And they were like, oh, they're only doing 20 damage when they should be doing like 50 here. So they must have made all the bosses easier. And I think they just took the damage amount down because you'll be damaging more often.
So it might be easier.
Who knows?
Who
I've
knows?
always said I hope there's a difficulty setting because it's not in the there's not a difficulty setting in the original, but it would really help.
I think all RPGs or all turn based games should have difficulty settings.
I agree.
Yeah. So and then the boss rematches.
Those are really cool. They're not in the original. There are a couple of optional bosses in the original, but this clearly is not that. It looks like it's in the same location as the optional bosses, but yeah, that's really cool. I love doing boss rematches, and I hope there's like the Zelda games and a lot of other games will have like a boss rush where you just marathon them all. I hope that's in there.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Was there anything else that was new? It was a fairly short.
Yeah,
Like
no amiibos, nothing new else that I noticed.
yeah,
But
this,
looks good. Can't wait to play it.
I mean, this might be it. I mean, we might not get much more information until it comes out, but it's looking good. I mean,
I am kind of curious if all of the references are going to make it through because the first game it's very quirky. Like for example, at one point in the game they make a reference to Bruce Lee, and I'm wondering if kids even know who Bruce Lee is anymore. But the like various things like that. I hope all the references make it into the game.
yeah, I hope so as well because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because that was us growing up.
true.
I mean that was our generation, and we had references in our media that was way more explicit and weird and whatever else.
And then the next thing I had is Princess Peach Showtime, which was one of the things in this direct I was the most impressed with because we knew nothing about this going in. And I think I'm going to buy this game. It comes out March 22nd of next year, which I've already talked about how I have too many games for this year. So there's a few in this direct where I was like, thank you. Thank God that's next year. Thank God, because I have no more time this year. And this is one of them. That might be my first purchase on my Switch of 2024. And it looks really cool. Like the different Peaches they showed, I wrote down. We had Sword Fighter Peach.
Mhm.
We had Detective Peach, which I immediately thought Detective Peachachu. I don't know if you did. And then I'd never heard this word before for a chef. They had Pitsire Peach. Is that a word you were familiar with?
Pit sire, no, no.
Yeah, that's what they
Let,
said, Pitsire, and then she was like a chef. I have no idea what that word is. And then the last one was Kung Fu Peach, which I thought was weird because normally you see ninja. So Kung Fu, I guess that would be the second most popular option. But
which one's more? Which one's more PC? I don't know.
I don't think there's anything non-PC about ninja, is there?
Or Kung Fu. I mean, Kung Fu. I would
Either
think
one.
so,
Well, Kung Fu Panda.
but we're kind of getting into a different area. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, this game was made in Japan. Um, but
Did it look like a game you were going to play?
this is not. And you can tell me if I talk about price point too much. This is not a $60 game for me. But I
Did they give
love.
the price yet? Oh, yeah, because they said you could pre-order it.
Okay. Assuming that it's a full price game.
I can look that up right now.
Yeah, assuming that it is. I love the mixes of what it looks like to be platforming and mini games. And again, I think this game is going to be targeted more for children, which is great.
It is. It's a $60 game.
And it's going to be targeted also for uh, boys and girls.
People like me,
Yeah,
people like
yeah,
me who like to play a
yeah.
really easy game. Like I always say, I want to play Press A, the video game.
I do think. Oh, I do want to play it. Just yeah, it's not a day one. It's not a day one for me. I think that there's only a couple of those in this direct, but I'm super excited about it. I mean, honestly, next to I think they need to take Peach's character and just run with it now. I think they do. Like if they're gonna have this new game and they're gonna have like like the Mario movie and that was huge. I
Yeah,
think they just need to do more with it.
I had that same thought when I was watching this. I was like, okay, so like now you're really developing this character and this can be her thing going forward. Like this could be the start of a series if it does well. And every entry will be like, what's she gonna turn into this time?
Yeah.
So it's a really cool start of something, hopefully.
Yeah, and finally too, and I think that's a much bigger discussion. Perhaps that's even a future segment of ours. Like representation in Nintendo games, I think is overall fantastic, but it's kind of Peach's character is kind of interesting that we're at this point in 2023 where we're saying
Mhm.
like, yeah, we're gonna develop this more. So pretty excited about it. I will make one prediction, which is a little bit negative. I think this game will suffer on the current system. Now, I did see the Arlo video where he got to play Mario Wonder early, and he does mention like he just feels like Mario Wonder would be better on a more optimized system. Um, I think this is one of the games that will be better on a newer system as well.
Then next up is Saga Emerald Beyond, which I didn't really have any thoughts on.
Saga Frontier Remastered, released in 2021. There was really good reviews for that. So people people that are into that game, super happy that you're getting more remasters on the system. Comes out next year.
For sure.
Comes out sometime next year.
And then something a long time ago we talked about on the podcast where I said I wanted this, and Sean and I talked about the possibility of it ever happening. The Tomb Raider trilogy. I called it, putting this on I called it status. There was a while back, Sean and I had a conversation because there was some news story about how the rights had been sold, and I was like, they're going to want to collect money as soon as possible. I don't know if this is related to that, but it's cool that those original games are coming because I've wanted to play them for a long time. I never played them back in the PlayStation days, and it's been like on my list of like, it's a big franchise and I missed it. So I played the newer ones, but I never played the originals. So this will be a cool chance to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cool for the people who want to play it. I haven't played it since it came out, and I was thinking like I don't even remember if I played Tomb Raider 3. Like I can't ever remember. It's been such a long time.
It's not going to be a day one purchase, but it'll be a purchase at some point.
Yeah, but it's a collection of 3 games. They're gonna include all bonus levels, and this is again what we talked about a little bit before. I think it's very cool that you get to either choose like the low poly graphics or like the new optimized graphics, because
that was really cool. Yeah,
because something I've been hearing a lot lately is it's like this remaster looks great, but for some reason I don't know. Like I like the original one, and it's like whatever. Okay, cool. Play that one then, and hopefully it's still optimized. I think the gameplay will be great. I'm interested in getting a young person's perspective on these games.
Yeah, that's true. The controls are they're very similar to the original Resident Evil like tank controls. So I don't think the current generation really likes those, but I played a lot of those games growing up, so I'm very used to them. I don't know if they're going to update the controls for this new remaster. They might have to. That's something that wasn't addressed yet, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm sure the rights were very expensive, so of course you want to do something with them. And the Nintendo Therapy predicted it. We just didn't put it on the bingo card.
Yeah, we predict this was something Sean and I talked about, I feel like in like February on the show. It was a long time ago. But anyway, so Detective Pikachu is what I have next. Another game I have zero to no thoughts on. You're the Pokemon
guy. Sure. It showed the Pokemon's abilities, which I thought was the only new part to this trailer. I think it looks rough. I think like I've said this basically. Yeah. This is the 3rd time I'm saying it. Every time this game has come up, this game looks very, very rough for some reason.
It almost looks like a DS game with a what is that called when they smooth it, like AI smoothing or whatever. I can't think of the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Which is fit
upscaling. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, which is fitting because this is a sequel or a second game to a 3DS game. So, I want to play it. I never played the first one, but I will wait for reviews because I'm worried that it's going to come out and it's just not going to be playable. Like Scarlet and Violet was a game that I enjoyed, but when games start crash on me a lot, I start to lose motivation really quickly. So I'm going to wait on it. The story looks really cool. The game looks rough. comes out October 6th. A positive I will say about this direct was that they gave us many different dates, including
Yeah, I have a note on that
yeah,
for the last thing
yeah,
in the direct, but we'll get to there
yeah,
at the end.
yeah. Moving ahead.
Next up, Trombone Champ.
Oh my god.
Interesting for sure. I don't know who this is for, but I'm glad they have it if they need it.
So this game is getting extremely high reviews. I think.
You know what I thought was interesting? Sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt, but I think we should start on this. It's a music-based game in a Nintendo Direct. I thought it was really interesting that at no point did they play any Nintendo songs. Like, I get that it's on the trombone, so they're going to sound different, but no, like, Mario, no Tanaki, is that his name?
I don't.
Theme, no.
Yeah, I don't think there are Nintendo. I don't think Nintendo has allowed any of their music on this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just thought that would be a cool, like, that would have been a really cool way to start the
that
trailer if they could have done
yeah
it, but
that would have been awesome. That would have been cool for the people who have played this game, and are excited to play it on a different system. This game has gotten extremely high reviews. I think it came out last year, um, and honestly, like when we did our list of like games that could be Nintendo games, this is definitely one of them. So it makes sense. I can't believe it. I can't believe that this was part of the direct. Um, and interesting fun fact: before before today, there were 11 games that used the IR sensor on Nintendo Switch, and there were two that were announced just in this presentation.
how many of them were trombone based?
Well,
Just one.
there are none, and as far as games that use a trombone, I only know of Road 94. In Road 94, there's a mini game where they make you play a trombone, and they don't really explain what to do, so it's just horrible. It's like it's like it's really interesting when video games make you suffer through something. You know, that's also another big. So yeah, I can't believe it. We're getting into the weird
Right.
part of the direct.
Yeah. And then in my order, the next thing was Battle Crush, which is a free to play battle royale game, which
Hate it.
the kids are really into that these days. Not, I don't really play online competitive anything, so not my thing. But
Like
again, if you're needing that, I'm glad you got more of it.
I don't hate the style. I don't hate the genre. I don't hate the style of games. Like I actually think it's pretty cool.
Oh, you just hate this one?
But no, it's just Battle Crush is a horrible title. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I think Princess Peach Showtime is not the correct title of that game. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, it's not?
No, I'm saying in my opinion, they should have chosen a better title.
Oh, they should have called it something
They should have
different.
chosen
I see
something
what you're
different.
saying.
But Battle Crush, I mean, this just seems like the most generic League of Legends game. It just seems like a League of Legends knockoff. Like, are we just gonna put mythology and everything now? And like it just seems like a very generic thing where it's like it should be on Switch, but it shouldn't be a part of this presentation. And okay, I'll get into it right now. The most critical part of this presentation is that like I just felt like this presentation went so many places to where like even though there are a lot of things I'm excited for, I thought it was so unorganized to where like
Maybe Arlo organized it for me.
I'm sure he might have left out a few things that we'll go over later, but
Okay.
I just felt like it was just so jam packed, and like a presentation should be a presentation. It just felt like here's this and that and this and that, and Battle Crush was one of those games. Oh, and they also announced there's going to be beta testing next month, and I'm like, that's stupid, guys. Like, that's not even a Switch thing. Like, I think they paid. Like, that's a paid advertisement.
That's Stars of whatever game had it though. I can't think of the name of it.
Was it wait?
Didn't they do beta testing on Switch? That RPG that just came out, Stars of I don't know. We'll move on.
But perhaps, and perhaps I'm wrong. I mean, again, we're not the experts here. That's the great thing about our podcast. You can.
And then Sean will have some thoughts on this, I'm sure, next week. Is Contra Operation Galaga?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been into Contra. Doesn't sound like you are, so we can move on.
Contra's. I see. This is. I forgot my notes. This is the first Contra in a long time, and I think it seems like no one had this in their bingo card.
No, this was a well-kept secret for sure.
So
I don't know if this is the correct name of this game. Nicorn Verlord. I could not make heads or tails of this one. It looked like a strategy RPG.
I'm trying to catch up with where you are now.
It was like a what is it called? And like anime style. I don't know.
What is this one?
Nicorn Verlord.
Okay.
It was just one of the RPGs.
Okay. I don't have this one. I don't have it. It's not on the.
I might have the wrong title of it because the logo was so bad I couldn't tell if that's what it said.
Are you talking? Are you talking about Unicorn Overlord?
I think so. That's what it is. That's a bad logo.
Unicorn Overlord. Oh, you know what? I can see that because so listeners, the U is a horseshoe and the O is a crown, and the horseshoe goes through the crown. So it's all right. It's another RPG. This is not. Is it a new RPG?
I think I heard that it was on something else, but I then like saw a comment that contradicted that, so I don't know. I know it's like a bad, even with the correct title, it's a bad title. Like, what are you playing? I'm playing Unicorn Overlord. Like, it is not something that people are going to say with a straight face, I'm sure. But I don't know. I don't know enough about this. We'll move on because I'm sure you and I both have plenty to say about other stuff in the direct.
Comes out March 8th. Yeah.
There you go. Next, I had Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yep.
Which I thought it was interesting that they dropped the Dark Moon subtitle, which I know was only in North America anyway. But obviously this direct is for North America. So if it seems like this is going to re-release as Luigi's Mansion 2 HD and not Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon HD. So I wonder if they thought the Dark Moon part would confuse people into thinking it was a new game. So they changed it to Luigi's Mansion 2. I don't know.
Well,
I'm torn between knowing Luigi's Mansion 3 did everything this game does but better and also wanting this game anyways. So I don't know which one I'm going to land on. I wonder if Ghost Pup is going to have his pupils at the end, because that's something I've seen people online read a lot into, is at the end of, spoiler alert, sorry, at the end of the 3DS version, the ghost dog in the game has pupils. And I guess only the good ghosts have pupils. But then at the beginning of Luigi's Mansion 3, he doesn't have pupils anymore. So people have read a lot into that.
Interesting. Well, we have a lot of thoughts on this podcast about the numbers and games, and I thought that was an interesting pick.
It's summer 2024, so I think I am going to end up getting it because that's so far ahead right now. I don't obviously have plans for what I'm gaming that month, but that time of year. But
Yeah, yeah, summer 2024, and I mentioned this on Twitter or X last night a few times. Like I was very interested in seeing how late they were going to put timetables of some games because, again, like if we're talking summer 2024, I'm like, what system are we talking about? Like
well, this I saw you. Oh no, that was about a
a
different
different
game.
game,
Never
I'm
mind.
sure, but
But this I think they have also tweeted with the Nintendo Switch hashtag, however official that makes it.
okay.
But
How many systems?
that
Okay,
that's true.
but yeah, I was thinking. I think I want to play Luigi's Mansion 3 around Halloween this year. How many hours?
I'm for sure. Yeah. I'm for sure doing that. I'm doing a replay of it. I think I'm going to start that tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, how many hours is it? Like 15, 20 hours?
Yeah, it's not that long of a game. I'd say if you want to do everything, maybe 25. If you want to there's like basically a trophies thing in the menu where it's like got a bunch of super optional stuff. And if you want to do all that, maybe 25 hours. It's not that long of a game.
Yeah,
But it's appropriately length is what I'll say. Is it doesn't wear out its welcome. The bosses, there's a lot of great bosses. So yeah, it's worth the time for sure.
I think I need to play a Halloween game next month. I think I need to play something Halloween themed.
You know what? Actually, well, I'm going to save this because we're probably going to do an episode on Halloween games or something. But there's one game that I have always wanted to come to Switch, and it doesn't look like it's ever going to, and it's a great Halloween game. So that's a teaser for down the line. And then the next thing was for me the Nintendo Museum,
In Kyoto.
which they had really nothing to tell us about it other than that it exists. So
I
are going to exist.
yeah, I really want to go. I'm planning to go to Japan sometime in during the cherry blossom season, and if I was ever in Kyoto, I wanna go to this. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it there at some point in my life for sure. It's right down my alley, that idea. And then the amiibos came next. We got Zelda and Ganon, we got Noah and Mio from Xenoblade, and we got Sora. So those new amiibos are dropping soon.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised to see Sora. I don't keep up with amiibos, and I thought that would have been out by now.
I only collect the Zelda ones, so I haven't decided if I'm getting these new Zelda ones. They don't look that great, but
Really? I think
at least in my opinion, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of just like the ones that are of Link.
yeah.
I have a few Zeldas, but yeah, I think I kind of just like the Link ones.
Perhaps I just see Ganondorf and I just think, oh, like he's kind of in a cool in a cool like power pose, but
If I have, let me put it this way: if I can find these in stores, I'll buy them. If I have to buy them from scalpers, I'm out.
yeah, but then again, yeah, I guess the Zelda one, there are so many different versions of Zelda,
Mhm.
but Ganondorf, um, well, I mean, he's pretty buff in this game. Like he looks the human Ganondorf in this game looks pretty good. Um, so
I saw you tweeting about F-Zero 99 today, so you already started diving into that. That was my next game up.
well, I'm playing. It's 7 o'clock it's 7 in the morning my time. So I'm planning to jump into it at some point today.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I've seen a lot of people are loving it so far. Some people are bummed that this is all they got for new F-Zero content, but my response to that would be Nintendo is probably using this to gauge what there is interest level wise in F-Zero right now. So if you want a new F-Zero game, play this, because we mentioned previously they've commented in the past that they don't know how a new F-Zero title would perform. So if everyone plays this, they'll probably be like, yeah, put out a new F-Zero.
I full intentions to play this game and be horrible at it, which is fine.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, this is for me. This was the most exciting part of the direct, which I'll say is pretty much for me is a lukewarm kind of direct, which is fine. We'll get into that at the end. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, like what is this? Like, is it Switch Online? And then when I saw it was the Battle Royale, I was like, oh, like it just makes sense. Like Nintendo is gonna keep doing Battle Royale versions of their games to kind of test and see what people are interested in, and it's free, so I think that's I think it's really cool. And they also have like different like decals and cosmetics that you can earn, and I'm like, oh, I'm sold. Like give me a racing game and something to collect, and I'm good.
Bandit Tale, a League of Legends story, and Song of Nunu, a League of Legends, 2 League of Legends stories. I don't play League of Legends, so no notes on this.
Yep.
Sounds like
graphics look cool. That's all I had.
WarioWare Move It comes out November 3rd. Please give me a Wario Land game instead.
Yeah.
My thoughts on this are well documented. Yeah. They're all the same game at this point. Move on.
This was wasted. I thought this was wasted space in the direct.
Yeah.
Sure. And honestly, like the mechanics made me like this game less. Like I don't want to be a chicken or a crane or like I don't want.
I'm sure these people are out there, but I have never seen someone online saying like, "Man, I really wish there was a new WarioWare game this year." Like I've never seen it.
WarioWare as a social game is awesome. I'm just a little bit too old now. When I was in college and I would have like 8 people always at my place, like it was awesome, you know. But like, it's just it is what it is, and yeah, like Wario, they need to do more of that character. November 3rd comes out,
and then April 23rd we've got Eiyuden Chronicle.
Eiyuden Chronicle. What did I see about this game?
I didn't write any note on it.
Yeah, perhaps.
Apparently, I'm only about the flagship Nintendo characters right now.
I mean, perhaps it's nothing. Is this another RPG?
I think so.
Yeah,
sounds like one.
Comes out in April. Yeah, this is not one that I
because it was followed by Eastward Octopia.
Did you?
Which is that farm sim? Because you got to have a farm sim in every Nintendo Direct. Oh. It looks nice, but I'm kind of at the same time over playing games I'm lukewarm on. So if it's got a good price point and I've got some spare Nintendo coins, I might use it as like my bonus purchase. But I don't know. I'll have to see what people say about this one. This is one I'm going to wait to see what the word is.
That's why. So Eiyuden Chronicle has crops, and I was like, not sure. But then Eastward Octopia was like, oh, like I can cross this off our bingo card. Did you play Eastward?
No, but this trailer it like piqued my interest, but it was like I was like I'm paying attention, but I'm gonna see what people say about this. Like it looks okay, but
dude, you should. So you don't. According to the direct, you don't have to play the base game to actually play the.
I remember them saying
to play the DLC, which makes sense because why would you put a 15-20 hour game behind another game, but Kevin, you should play Eastward. If it's ever on sale, you should play Eastward. I think you would love it. It like
Okay.
like like in my opinion, if you like Earthbound, like and
I
you
did.
like pixel and you like like pixel graphics. I thought Eastward was phenomenal. Um, so I don't know if I'll play the DLC because the DLC is like way
Is Eastward on
yes.
Switch?
Yes, it came
Okay.
out 2019 or I might be way off on that, but it is on Switch. It had fairly good reception when it came out. It's just it's a really good indie RPG. It's not that long either. It's not too long.
I wonder if it's on PlayStation Plus. It wasn't. Oh no, it's not on PlayStation. It's just. I'm looking at it right now. Switch, Mac, Windows, and Xbox One. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you ever
Huh?
see it on sale, I think it was like a $20 game. But if you ever see it on sale, you might want to pick it up because it's just phenomenal graphics, phenomenal soundtrack, really cool really cool mechanics where you're controlling like you have to switch between the two different characters and work together. But I digress.
The one game I was like, I'm gonna try to save some money and not buy this one. You're like, no, it would be perfect for
Yeah.
you.
So the DLC I'm probably not going to play because it is so different from the base game, and I have
uh,
I but I don't know. But perhaps like it comes out and it's like phenomenal because the developers of this game did a great job and they've obviously spent a couple of years at least on the DLC. So perhaps I will.
Wargrove 2. I am not at all aware of this franchise other than the fact that it looks exactly like Advanced Wars, so it must be the same people.
Um,
But
war, so Wargroove, I see people on Switch playing. But I always thought Wargroove was like a free game, but
yeah, I'm looking right now. It
but
doesn't say
apparent,
if it is or not.
but yeah,
It's on Switch and
yeah,
Xbox. Oh, and PlayStation 4.
it's on everything. Comes out October 5th. Again, this uh, like the one.
It looks exactly like Advance Wars. I'm surprised that Nintendo let them get away with such a thing.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that, isn't there? But but I don't know. This again this again felt like a paid advertisement.
Oh, it's in the same series according to the Wikipedia. Okay, that's why it looks the same. According to the Wikipedia, the Wars series, also known as Famicom Wars and Advance Wars, is a series of military-themed turn-based strategy games. Okay, so it, I guess, is in that same series. I'm not going to waste more time on this. If you care, research it on your own. Dave the Diver was the next thing I had, and I know this was big on other platforms, so it's good news for fans who can now have it on their
Yeah.
Switch.
October 26th, there is a demo available, which is awesome. Which is awesome. Uh, Guys, this has been a pretty honestly, in my opinion, a pretty big year for indie games on the Switch. But this game will be the biggest indie game of 2023 on Nintendo, and perhaps just in general. People are talking game of the year, which I think is ridiculous considering the kind of year that we've had. But this might be. I
Yeah,
haven't played it yet. It's been on my
Indie of the
yeah,
year,
it's
maybe.
been on my wish list since for months now. It looks like the perfect mix of gaming for me, which is why I haven't played it yet. But I'm calling it. This is going to be the next huge indie game on Nintendo. So I think it's awesome. I just think it's awesome. It's coming.
I might pick this one up. I've actually been looking for a good underwater game, and it seems like this might be the one to do what I'm looking for it to do. It's looks really cool.
Yeah,
I know there's that other one where you're like it's like Among Us but in the ocean. I mean not Among Us. Oh god, what's the game I'm thinking of where you're in space? I don't know. There's that one where you're like stranded in the ocean and you got to like survive.
Sean's played this game. Um, and
Yeah, I can't think of
it
it.
but that one's like really stressful and scary. Like this one, I think is pretty light and has like a pretty nice gameplay loop where like
Subnautica. That's what I was thinking of.
yes, Subnautica um, is very stressful from the little that I've played. I've also played on Switch a game called Abzu, which is the exact opposite of that, where it's very like meditative. Dave the Diver is a great. It seems like a great mix of like fishing and diving, and then you come back up and you run your sushi restaurant, and then in the morning like perhaps you plant some crops, and yeah, October 26th, very excited about it.
And we finally figured out who the final drivers are going to be in the Mario Kart 8 final wave. So for the longest time, people have been debating what are those last two drivers going to be, and they gave us four instead. We've got Diddy Kong, which I thought was interesting that they mentioned he was from a game that wasn't Diddy Kong Racing. They were like Diddy Kong from Mario Kart something or other. Like, no, he's Diddy Kong from Diddy Kong
Mm-hmm.
Racing. Funky Kong is in
Yep.
there, Pauline and Peachette. And they also revealed that we'll be getting the Daisy circuit from the Wii
Yep.
Mario Kart.
Yep. Funky Kong. I think that's a good pick, and Peachet's a great pick as well. Um,
I'm sure Sean's happy with the Funky
yeah.
Kong. He's a big Donkey Kong fan.
Yeah. So I think this is all a good pick, and um, watching this direct, I really thought about like they should keep adding Smash characters, and I think it's weird that they don't. I think it's kind of weird that they like.
I think that at this point they're like, we got to figure out something for the next one. Even though they claim, I think I've seen them say somewhere there's not going to be a next one. It's like, no, this is one of your biggest franchises. There's going to be a next one.
Or just keep doing DLC. Of course, there's going to be that would be oh yeah
Yeah, that
yeah
would be
yeah
insane.
of course Nintendo, of course there's not going to be a next one, but legit there might not be a next Mario Kart. This might just go on forever.
And then the last thing I had before we get into the
big one,
the finale, yeah. So I don't know if I missed anything on your list after this. We can do is I had Among Us the Fungal. Should have been fungus Among Us, but yeah, the Among Us the Fungal, and I've never played Among Us, so I don't really have any thoughts on this. I like the idea of it; seems cool. It's just not. I don't do online
Come,
gaming, so not something I'm
come
really
on
into.
Nintendo, like how much money are you guys making off this? Like can we do the
Off of this podcast,
no,
nothing.
but can you do this Nintendo? Like like I just like or put it somewhere in like the first like in like the 10-minute mark when I'm like where I'm kind of getting warmed up, and I'm like, all right, like we've had a couple of things, and okay, Among Us, all right, okay, now back to like the other stuff. But like to put this like at like the very like because I knew there was gonna be like one more thing after this, and I was when it came up, I was like, man, like now I'm just sitting waiting for the last thing. So
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, I said the same thing with the last direct. I was like, please don't reveal Wind Waker and Twilight Princess because I'm out of money. but um, but yeah, hopefully that's coming at some point.
it just felt like a paid advertisement. So before the last one, I think I had three games that you didn't mention that I'll just kind of go through real quick.
Yeah, pop them off real quick.
Horizon Chase 2 is out now. Horizon
Woo.
and Horizon Chase series is based off like a like Burnout and like the old like Super Nintendo racing games. It's $20. It is local multiplayer and online. I would say that the trailer in the direct looked pretty rough, but this is a series that is pretty cool and has had the first game had a really good reception, and also it has car customization, which I like a lot. Um, the next one on there was Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, which if you ever make a direct bingo card and you want like something for sure, put a rhythm game on there because there's always like a Let's Dance or something where you're moving. And then the last one was Spy Anya Operations Memories, which comes out next year. I'm not familiar with the Spy Family manga series, or much less any manga series, but it does kind of have that Studio Ghibli vibe to it, so it does look pretty cool. No release date on that, and Kevin, I think that's it. I think we got everything. Saga Emerald Beyond. No, we mentioned that. I think we got everything. War Tales
Except for the
and
biggin.
and War Tales, which is out today as well. I don't know what that is. Okay, and the big one. Now the big one.
The bi- the big one that we predicted. This is why you listen to us, listeners. We know everything. We know it all. We are experts. We're saying it now. Now, um, but you know, I, I've kind of been hoping for this game a bunch of directs now, and it just happened to be the direct that we got a bingo card for. So I was like, throw that on there because I've wanted this forever, and it just happened to be the direct where it happened. And it's Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I am so happy that this is coming to the Switch because it's one of the only. There's only two Paper Marios I didn't play, and this is one of them. And I'm just like it's one of those games where every now and then I was tempted to just give the money and buy the GameCube version, or is it? Yeah, it's a GameCube game. I almost bought the GameCube version because I was like, it's either this or I was also looking into getting one of those like hacked Wii units. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but like you can hack a Wii and put a bunch of GameCube ROMs on it. Not that that's a thing you should do legally, but anyway, I almost bought one of those hacked Wii's for just to play this and a few other games. But now finally I can buy it legally and I don't have to worry about that. And I don't know. I'm just very hyped to play this game because I love the original Paper Mario, which I came late to this whole series. I played it late. I played it for the first time on the Wii U, believe it or not. And I think it was the Wii. It might have been the Wii. Now that I think of it, it was the Nintendo Wii. But the point is, it was very late. And they didn't have Thousand Year Door available. And now they finally do. Are you excited for this game?
I haven't played the other two because there's two other Paper Mario games on Switch, right? So
On Switch Online, there's the original Paper Mario. And then for like Nintendo Switch games, there's Origami King. And is there another one? That other one I think is on the Wii U.
um, so I'm I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to. I don't know if I'm gonna play it or not. I don't really know. But I am excited just with the idea of it. Just that just more Mario series that are on the Switch, and and Paper Mario has always been one that's quite different than others. So um, I think this was a good prediction by us and a good final announcement of the evening. The live stream that I was on, was like it seemed very, very half and half in the chat, where like half the people were like, "What's this?" and the other half were like, "Are you kidding me? This is awesome." So
I don't know why people would be like, "What is this?" I feel like this is a game that every time people are discussing games that, like, in the same breath that people bring up Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, of games of like, why isn't this on Switch yet? I feel like this game is always brought up in that conversation.
well, to be fair, and typically it's people of all ages that are in these chats, and a Twitch chat doesn't represent society, thank God. So uh, I think people just get in their minds that like the and then like people are getting ready for like, oh, here comes the Switch 2 or here comes Metroid Prime, like
Yeah.
so I think if you have like Metroid Prime or something like that in your mind, and then you get Thousand Year Door, like, or perhaps that's something that you anticipated already, then you're like, yeah. There's no release date on this one, which makes me think, like, it just makes me think Nintendo, like, again, like this game would have no problem being on the current system, but could it be on
My
Gen?
first my first thought on that was that it would be a perfect game for spring, because around May is like a lot of big releases come out. But then I noticed in this presentation they've got a lot of stuff that says spring 2024, and they even have stuff that says summer 2024. I don't know if they have anything that says winter 2024, so that that might say that this is coming out that late, and you could be right. It could be on a dual system release. I did say this was the one that I said earlier. I did see the official Nintendo account tweet about this with a hashtag that said Nintendo Switch. So I think it's at least coming to this, but maybe both.
Yeah, I don't know. Because for Nintendo, there's not necessarily a season where they're going to release a system. Like they'll release in spring, they'll release in the holiday season. Um, so I don't really.
I don't know. I think I'm fully convinced at this point that it's coming out winter 2024, but we'll see. The new system, I mean.
Yeah, and that could be too. And I think like another part that I tweeted out about was like, we know they're working on the next Odyssey game, whether it's going to be called Odyssey 2 or it's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be Odyssey somewhere in that title. And if they're planning for that, for example, to be like a launch title for Switch, like how many Mario games are we putting out?
It's a good point. Although, did you see that thing that went viral, the video where they're like, Nintendo has forgotten about Mario? It's like, no, they've been releasing nonstop Mario titles. What are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. If anything, like Mario had like just a huge year. Like,
Yeah, that was right before the movie too. I feel like that went viral like 2 weeks before the movie
yeah,
came out. But
yeah,
anyway, no matter what system this does end up coming out on, the good news is just that it's going to be coming out again, and that I don't have to buy an expensive GameCube version now.
yeah. The GameCube versions are like really expensive. I saw that.
I'm going to do a quick eBay on that. I mean, it's at least $60, which
It's
is the price of a modern game. So I'm like,
it,
I
it
don't want
will
to do
it
that.
will go down a little bit now. Or well, actually, I shouldn't say that, but like when it gets released, I guess.
Ooh, she. Is this sealed? No, it's not even a sealed copy. It's complete, so they have everything. $115 or best offer. I'm not looking at closed auctions though. $105. Just the disc, like the disc itself, is selling here for 40. Graded copy. I'm not a fan of the fact that they're grading video games, but I understand preservation and everything, but not my thing. Okay, 90, 90, 90, 120. Yeah, so it's an expensive game for sure. Not so. I'm very glad they're re-releasing it so I can actually play it, because now I don't need to spend minimum of $40 on just a loose
Yeah.
disc.
And listeners, if you have Thousand Year Door, perhaps sell it now. But perhaps sell,
Yeah,
because it will go down in price at some point if the remaster is going to come out. So yeah, perhaps sell it.
all right. I think that's all our thoughts on the
Yeah.
direct. You got anything else?
No. Overall, like I had lots of positives when I actually got to sit down and write everything out, but there were some not so good vibes my first time watching this direct. Uh, Again, I think as far as a
I think it was a solid B,
yeah,
B
I'm
plus maybe. It definitely wasn't an A, but I'd give this direct like a B
I'm
plus.
feeling somewhere around the B or lower, but I think most
I was also more excited about certain
the
stuff than you were, like the Princess Peach game and stuff.
I, I
So
think I,
I'm a
I think
little
the
higher.
most important thing I can say, and this reflects our podcast, I think, pretty well, is that for for a 7-year-old system, which I have no real expectations over at this point, which because it's a 7-year-old system, I think it was a fine direct, because when these directs
Hmm.
roll around, I never feel like Nintendo, owes us anything. Like, hey, like you gave us the Mario movie and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Um, so I felt like it was fine for a system that is 7 years old. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So thank everybody for listening. This has been our special presentation where we focus on the direct. We're probably going to talk more about it next week. So tune in, same bat time, same Nintendo time, same Nintendo channel, and we'll see you for the next Nintendo Therapy.